How to return multiple values from a JavaScript function. Have you ever needed to get more than one piece of information from a function in JavaScript? It might seem tricky at first since a function can only return one value directly. But don't worry, there are simple ways to return multiple values effectively. Let's break it down together. One common method is to use an array. When you want to return several values that are related or of the same type, an array is a great choice. For instance, if you want to return coordinates, you can create a function that returns an array containing both the x and y values. Here is how it works. You can define a function called getCoordinates. Inside this function, you can set the x value to 10 and the y value to 20. Then, return an array with these two values. When you call this function, you can use array destructuring to assign the returned values to separate variables. This way, you can easily access both x and y. Another approach is to use an object. This is especially helpful when you want to return values of different types or when clarity is important. For example, you might create a function called getPerson. Inside this function, you can define a first name and a last name. By returning an object with named properties, you can make it clear what each value represents. When you call this function, you can use object destructuring to extract the first name and last name into their own variables. Destructuring makes it easy to access the values returned from both arrays and objects. This syntax simplifies your code and makes it more readable. Now let's talk about when you might want to return multiple values. You might need to return related information like user details, settings, or even results from a data processing function. Using objects with descriptive keys can make your code easier to understand, while arrays are perfect when the order of values is fixed. It's important to remember that JavaScript does not allow you to return multiple independent values directly with separate return statements. So, wrapping your values inside an array or an object is the way to go. In summary, if you want to return multiple values from a JavaScript function, consider using an array or an object. Then, use destructuring to easily access those values. This method aligns well with JavaScript's design and is essential for mastering functions and return values in web development.